Welcome to another episode of the Stephen and Joe Show. We were thinking about the 12 Days of Christmas, so I thought I'd do the 12 movies of Christmas. So we can only have movies that have the number from 1 to 12 in the title, but we can't use sequels. Altering the words can't happening too much. Only one movie per franchise. This actually posed quite a bit of a challenge and find films that not only fit this, but that I either have watched or would like to watch. Going on to 9.
Okay.
2 of these you'll be able to help me out with, which is first of all, 9.
Oh yes, which I think is technically a Tim Burton film. I think it's produced by Tim Burton. It's about this little, almost like a sock puppety creature thing.
Yeah.
Which
wearing goggles, isn't it?
With goggles on, and there are other kind of little sock puppety creature things who are against this little sock puppety creature thing, and then they have to go on this journey to find the thing that does the thing. I don't want to spoil it. Yeah, actually, it's a really good film. But
the thing, when you watched it, you told me it was good. I still haven't got around to watching it.
No, I mean, it's one of those things that I still see on Netflix, and I think I should watch that again, and then I just don't, because there's either something I haven't seen or so on and so forth. But yeah, it was really good. It was a really nice film. I don't think it got the press that it deserved at the time, which is a shame. But yeah.
Do you remember K9?
K9 I have got up there.
Is it
K9 1, 2 and 3.
James Belushi?
James Belushi, yeah.
Belushi.
Yeah. That was released about the same time as Turner and Hooch was, when buddy movies were big, and so somebody said, let's do a buddy movie with a dog.
And a dog, and they made 2 of them.
They made 2 of them. And yeah, K9 was really good. K9 was the good one.
I preferred K9 to Turner and Hooch.
Yeah, I did as well, yeah.
Plan 9 from Outer Space.
Technically the worst film in the world. I don't mean that technically it's the worst. I mean, in theory, it's the worst movie in the world.
Yeah.
It's something that just gives me great joy to watch occasionally.
I think it's got that cult classic sci-fi.
Yeah.
It's terrible, but everybody knows that, accepts it, and just moves on and watches it anyway.
Exactly.
It doesn't matter.
Exactly. And an awful turn from all the cast, especially Bela Lugosi. He just looks completely lost throughout the whole thing, but it really great in that same respect.
And possibly one of my favourite films on this entire list.
Yeah.
District 9.
District 9, yes, of course. District 9.
District 9 is just one of those.
Damn prawns.
It's just a phenomenal film. Yeah. It has real life value in terms of it being parallel to the apartheid and things like that. It genuinely pulls some emotional heartstrings. The cast act it phenomenally.
I think it's one of those films.
So good.
I think it's one of those films that we wouldn't have seen if it hadn't have come from South Africa as well. It's very much of its place, of its location. I think that's one of the reasons why it's worth seeing. Is because it sort of explores things that we don't normally explore in cinema.
We've got Force 10 from Navarone.
Okay, so you're going very sort of cowboy-y with these.
You don't even know. There's more to 10. I've got 310 to Yuma.
Oh wow!
Well.
Oh wow! Are all cowboy films sort of focused on the 10, and then just a few of them lost some numbers or gained some? I've got one. 10. With Dudley Moore. It's the film that launched Dudley Moore's film career, actually, after he'd been in Pete and Dud and been in The Establishment.
I've forgotten about that.
Yeah, and Bo...
Derek?
I want to say Bo Bridges for a minute, then that's...
Bo Regard.
Bo Brummel, that's... No.
But yeah, Force 10 from Navarone, which was a sequel to Guns of Navarone.
Yeah.
Everybody speaks about Guns of Navarone. It's a fantastic film. Force 10 from Navarone, actually a really good war movie as well, and features a very, very young Harrison Ford in it as well. I just really thought it was cool. And 310 to Yuma is just it's just an excuse to have Christian Bale and Russell Crowe act at each other.
Yeah.
And it succeeds.
It's good for that. It's really good for that.
Completely at that.
It's one of those films where you can just take two really great actors and put them side by side, like Seven was actually, and then just see what happens, and just really great stuff. It's really great.
I really enjoyed watching it, just because you kind of like and hate both characters as well, and the film kind of it doesn't force you to choose between the two, but it's kind of it blurs the line between good guy and bad guy very, very well, and I quite liked that, the fact that both have good points and bad points. It was very human in that way, which is cool.
Yeah. And
also Red Dawn. Now, Red Dawn's original title or subtitle was 10 Soldiers. Now,
so you're letting that in?
No, I just thought I'd mention it just because Red Dawn's really great, and I managed to get around to watching the
You've seen the remake now?
And I actually really liked the remake.
Okay,
I enjoyed
that's
it.
interesting.
It was really good fun.
That's very interesting. I'll have to go and watch the...
that's the thing, they haven't just completely they haven't
just remade it,
just done it with better cameras and new cast.
Yeah.
They've redone a lot of stuff. They've come up with plausible reasons.
Is it one of the few examples of a remake being better than the original, do you think?
Possibly.
Because I was never a fan of the original.
Well, that's the thing, I've got nostalgia for the original. I loved it.
Right.
Because I was living in America when I saw it.
Right, okay. Yeah.
And I was a kid that was into conspiracy theories, so just Red Dawn was like, this is amazing.
Yeah, I
want to be in the Wolverines, you know. So yeah, I do have some nostalgia, and that's Patrick Swayze. Which Ocean's 11.
Ocean's 11
was the first one that came to mind. Yeah. Which then obviously cuts out Ocean's 12, but
because it's a sequel.
Because it's a sequel. But Ocean's 11 was great. You just had an all-star cast that came together, and it's a film that does manage to look at all of them in different ways.
Yes, I suppose it does. I've watched the original before I saw Ocean's 11, and I actually really like the original. It's a Frank Sinatra movie, and it's really very, very good and really well thought out, and I think that translates very well into the Clooney and Pitt movie. It's not my favourite. I think Ocean's 12 was actually my favourite of the three. But it was definitely worthwhile. It's definitely one of those films that I will happily go and watch again. Yeah. You know,
it's just a good heist movie.
It is a great heist movie,
and it just so happens that you've got this either Rat Pack or Rat Pack copy.
Yeah, yeah. Basically, they're the new Rat Pack.
Yeah, and they did that well. I thought it was kind of a shame that they didn't capitalise on that.
Yes, they could have done.
Taken that cast and done more of that Rat Pack stuff.
I suppose that they're all very busy actors who have all in very busy actory things. So yeah, it's going to be difficult to do.
The other one for 11, was difficult.
I can imagine. Actually, I can't actually off the top of my head. I can't think of anything with 11 in.
Those Magnificent Men in Their Flying Machines.
Right.
Which the full title of this very, very classic movie is Those Magnificent Men in Their Flying Machines, or How I Flew from London to Paris in 25 hours, 11 minutes.
Well done. Because, that's right. Yes.
That's elaborate. But it is in the
it's
title.
Right. No, that's right. You can't... Yeah.
It's just a really classic film.
It is a great film. That and The Great Race.
Yes.
Are two that I will happily watch any time of the year.
And The Plank.
And The Plank. There's a new box set out with Eric Sykes' stuff in it, because I've got 3 or 4 of them, like Mr. H is Late and The Plank and those. But there's I think they've got 2 more films in there. So
okay.
Yeah. And they're worth checking out because they're very, very good, very funny, very well done.
That's the thing. A lot of these old classic films, if you've not seen them, a lot, like I say, a lot of this list, I wanted to keep it to films that we could recommend you watching. Go out and see them. A lot of them will be on Netflix. A lot of them would be free and easy to find these days as well.
And if they're not, they're cheap. They're the DVDs that you can pick up for £5 are the same DVDs that you'll be able to get these films in, or the box sets that you can get really cheaply. In fact, I've got behind me here to illustrate. I don't know why I'm shouting. It's the thing that you can pick up. It's called the British Comedy Greats. It's a 3 DVD box set. They've got A Home of Your Own, Sam Ferrian and Simon Simon. All 3 great British films with that list on the front. The people who are in it. People like Bernard Cribbins and Peter Sellers and Michael Caine, Bob Monkhouse, Wilfred Bramble, Joan Sims. They're classic. They're good films as well. Wow, so we've nearly done the whole list. Wow.
Pretty good.
That's pretty good.
12 Monkeys.
12 Monkeys, yeah.
Which is just brilliant and insane. And again, another film which was Brad Pitt coming out of heartthrobbing into awesome acting.
Brad Pitt?
Brad Pitt
was in it as the mental patient, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Wow.
And obviously Bruce Willis is in the lead.
They're remaking at the moment, aren't they, as a series?
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
I think it might be an Amazon or Netflixy thing, but yeah, they're doing it as a series.
See, I don't know.
Well,
I suppose it might give them a chance to explain more of what's going on.
I will wait and
12
see.
12 Monkeys is a confusing film.
But I wasn't that impressed with the Dusk Till Dawn series.
No.
It was better than it should have been, but it wasn't as good as it could have been.
But people are saying a lot of good things about the Fargo series.
Oh yeah, Fargo was really good actually, but then it didn't try and take the movie Fargo and then make a series out of it, which is what the From Dusk Till Dawn one did, and I think is what the 12 Monkeys one is doing as well.
Oh dear.
So we'll see.
Dirty Dozen?
Dirty Dozen.
Is that...
I think that technically it counts.
That's okay?
Yeah.
Because a dozen is 12, therefore I kind of... A little bit of license there. I think that kind of thing.
I think
again, another great war movie. It's a lot of war movies and westerns. Put a lot of
mind you, if you're gonna watch them, Christmas is the time to do it because that's you know, peace on earth and goodwill to all men. So you want to see people getting blown up.
And I haven't. I should have seen this. 12 Years a Slave.
Oh, it's brilliant.
I haven't seen it yet.
It's absolutely amazing. And
part of me isn't sure I want to see it because it sounds so harrowing.
Yeah, to some extent, yes, but it's worth watching because I think it's just worth understanding. You know.
Yeah.
It really is. There's something. It deserves all of the Oscars that it got, and it's a real shame that Captain Phillips was missed out from Oscars last year, really, because I think it deserved more than it got. But 12 Years a Slave, just very, very good film.
And that brings us to the end of our list.
I'm sure there was one more.
I think we toyed with the idea of X-Men for 10.
Yeah, but
I don't think that's
not quite right. It's not really in the spirit.
No,
of it,
it's
12 Angry Men. That was the one.
12 Angry Men.
Yeah,
yes.
Which Henry Fonda. Great, great film. I like courtroom dramas, and this is behind the scenes of a courtroom drama essentially, and it's really, really good. And it just it sort of spreads light on the judicial system in some respects, and go, okay, well, if you put 12 people in a room, what are they going to think, and why are they going to think these things? And it's, for me, that's a really good reason to be watching it in the first place. So so it's great. I've got one more film which will technically fit over 3 different categories in this.
Okay.
The Taking of Pelham, 1, 2, 3.
That's really good. That's impressive.
I know.
I like that.
So if anyone else can think of any that will fit more than one category, because technically,
let us know that.
Technically, there, if you've got 2 different numbers, like the
Taking Pelham 1, 2, 3, the original is phenomenal.
It really is.
And the remake was also really good.
Was Tony Scott who directed that as well?
Oh, cool.
It was
I really wanted to kind of shoehorn in 30 Days of Night. but I couldn't figure out anywhere because it's snowy, so it's a Christmas film.
I think it's the Arctic, or
It is.
yeah. So it's kind
it's
of
always snowy.
it's always snowy. Yeah.
But 30 days is a month. It's not all of.
I'm sure there are other films like I'm sure there's a
Yeah.
12 Days of Christmas film somewhere.
Oh
or
yes,
something like that,
definitely.
or because I'm sure every single Christmas film has, or every single Christmas Carol has had a film named after it at some point.
Yeah. But like I said, I wanted to keep it to films I would actually recommend to our viewers. Our
and it's a
watchers,
great
all of you.
alternative Christmas list as well.
Yeah.
So do let us know if you have any of your own. Or if you think that we're wrong with something and that something else should be replaced there. And do go and watch the films as well, because it's a great way of spending your time.
We'll put the list of films in the description below.
It's always giving me more work to do.
As well
That's
as
what it is. That's the only reason. It's just because it makes more work.
as well as links to our Twitter accounts.
Links to our Twitter accounts, our Patreon. Go and sponsor us.
Ah, nice.
Yeah. There you go.
But yeah, come up with your own list. Either put it in the comments
in the
below,
comments,
or tweet at us. Or
tweet and
whatever.
Facebook, and we don't check Google Plus as much as we should, but notifications come up
Yeah.
occasionally. So yeah.
Anywhere.
Yeah.
And thanks for watching, guys.
Thanks a lot, and Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.